the undisputed welterweight champion of the world, Terence "Bud" Crawford.
Hey Ringsiders, what is going on? This is your host, Boxing's Objective Observer, and welcome back to Ringside Stories. Or if you're new, we make content regarding boxing through mini documentaries, backstories, post-fight analysis, and much more. So if you enjoy that type of content, feel free to subscribe, thumbs up, and hit that notification bell for the latest here on Ringside Stories. Thanks so much for your support in advance, and welcome to the channel. Terence "Bud" Crawford is the new undisputed world champion in the welterweight division, delivering a first ballot Hall of Fame level performance against then undefeated unified world champion Errol Spence Jr. Today we're going to talk about 5 takeaways from the Spence versus Crawford undisputed world championship fight. Let's get into it. Number 1, all-time great. Not only did Terence Crawford stop his 11th consecutive opponent since moving up to the welterweight division, the way Bud dismantled the Truth was simply astonishing.
I can't believe what I just watched, guys. Did I just watch Terence Crawford dominate like that? Regardless of who you thought was going to win this fight, did you ever expect it to wind up this one-sided? I am still in shock.
You know, Bud was able to neutralize what he did and took advantage of it.
Unbelievable. The way he controlled every moment of the fight, man. It was a master class, master boxing class, bro.
Now we know Errol Spence's best punch is his jab, and that was key for this fight.
Errol Spence, he's a tremendous talent. He got a great jab, and we was worried about the jab coming in because that's how he set up all his shots off the jab. You know, and so our main focus was the jab. You take away his best attribute, and then, you know, the rest is history. Terence
Crawford executed his game plan diligently and punished Spence with every single shot you can think of. Outside, counterpunch, and even in the pocket. If we take a look at the punch stats, Terence Crawford out-jabbed the jabber Errol Spence. In terms of total punches, Terence landed 50% of his shots, and in terms of power shots, he landed a whopping 60%, meaning Terence Crawford was landing almost at will on the Truth. I'd like to give a shout out to today's sponsor, LiveGood. LiveGood is a company which promotes 100% organic supplements. These have great benefits for better stamina and great health overall. Not only that, they are promoted at an extremely affordable price. Now, I personally love these supplements because of the fact that LiveGood allows you to make money at the comforts of your own home. Click the link in the description box below and take the free tour for more information.
But we know Terence Crawford is a little bit of a slow starter, but he starts getting your time. He starts processing things, and all of a sudden, he just became like the Matrix. First of all, he gets into a rhythm. He's giving different looks. He's feinting. He's punching at different angles. He's punching at different speeds. He's creating space on the inside better than Errol Spence is creating space on the inside. It got to the point where Crawford was consistently landing the better, more violent punches on the inside. And at a certain point, about halfway through the fight, in about round 6, you start to notice Errol Spence is hesitant on the inside. He's getting close, and he's just looking to hold and smother. And he's being forced to fight on the outside because on the inside, he doesn't trust himself.
Spence versus Crawford was talked about as not only the fight to decide who the best welterweight of this era is, but also as the fight of which the winner would be crowned the best fighter pound for pound. The reality is that Spence versus Crawford was not close, and that mostly has to do with the greatness of Terence "Bud" Crawford. Number 2, Errol Spence's lack of defense. We know Errol Spence Jr. is a blunt force offensively, not so much for his defensive abilities.
I thought Errol was going to compete a lot better. The defense, he had no defense, bro. No idea of defense. You got trainer of the year in your corner, bro. You don't supposed to come out there and look that bad under no circumstances.
Maybe Antonio Tarver has a valid point. Whether it was his long layoff, the remnants of Spence's fairly recent accidents, looking at his ring walk, Errol Spence looked a bit nervous, at least more nervous than ever. Even though Errol Spence started off promising, especially in the first round, as the fight progressed, Spence's defense got exposed, and the lack of depth in the Truth's game played out naturally.
Nothing really surprised me. He was just like I thought. It's just my timing wasn't good today. Felt a little out physically, but most times I get through it. So, you know, I thought it was gonna be just like the other times, but you know, I couldn't kick it up a notch.
Now, we don't want to take away from his heart, his warrior mentality, nor his accolades. But at the upper echelon of boxing, Spence versus Crawford proved Terence Crawford is a complete fighter, whereas Errol Spence Jr. is not. Number 3. No rematch, please. Honestly speaking, Spence versus Crawford was unexpectedly one-sided. Bud's fight with Sean Porter and even the likes of Mean Machine Kavaliauskas proved more competitive than Errol Spence Jr.
Gonna put on a great show, a great performance. It's gonna be a one-sided ass whooping.
That turned out to be the case, unfortunately for Spence, not the way he hoped it would play out.
The better man won tonight, not here to make any excuses. I definitely did the same. Just, you know, my time was off and I couldn't capitalize on a couple of things, and you know, his time was a lot better than mine tonight.
Props to Spence for taking his loss like a man. Over the years, he has provided quality fights and proven a more than worthy world champion. That said, other than his competitiveness, what does the truth have to counter a generational talent such as Terence Crawford? Errol Spence Jr. fell short defensively, offensively, tactically. Sure, Spence is a master of the basics, which grant him world championship success. However, on July 29, 2023, Terence "Bud" Crawford proved that in boxing, there are levels. Objectively speaking, an immediate rematch will not change the outcome, in my opinion, even at 154. But what do you think Errol Spence Jr. should do next? Leave your comments in the comment section below. Number 4. Boxing history. Terence Crawford is the first undisputed welterweight champion of the world in almost 2 decades, when Super Zab Judah held claim to that title in 2006.
Bud made him look extremely slow, and he just capitalized off it. You know what I'm saying? So give the man a spot. He earned it. He deserved it, and he got it.
We witnessed all-time level great talents during the Mayweather-Pacquiao era, yet as great as Monty May and the Pac-Man were, they never fully consolidated the 147-pound division. So Terence "Bud" Crawford is the first ever world champion to hold all of the 4 major world titles at welterweight, and the first man in the 4-belt era to be the undisputed best in 2 separate weight divisions.
It means everything because who I took the belts from. They tried to blackball me. They kept me out. They talked bad about me. They said I wasn't good enough. I couldn't beat these top welterweights. And I just kept my head to the sky. And I kept praying to God that I get the opportunity to show the world how great Terence Crawford is. And tonight, I believe I show how great I am.
So having conquered both 140 and 147, alongside holding a world title at 135, being undefeated in 40 professional fights, the sky is truly the limit for Bud. Number 5. What's next for Terence Crawford? Having successfully defended his welterweight crown 7 times in a row, the question becomes, what else is left for Terence Crawford? You've got the likes of former world champions Keith Thurman and Yordenis Ugas lurking at 147, but can either one of them really pose a threat to Terence Crawford? Or current IBF interim champion Jaron Ennis? But is Boots really ready for this type of step up? A more interesting challenge, in my opinion, sits north from welterweight.
I was already talking about moving up in weight and challenging Charlo, so 54 wouldn't be outreach of anything.
Talks of a fight with Spence's stablemate Jermell Charlo already commenced prior to the Spence fight, which would have been a serious option if it wasn't for his upcoming fight against Saul Canelo Alvarez in September of 2023, which will be for all of the marbles at 168. Now, even if Jermell Charlo loses that fight, and bar anything unforeseeable, Iron Man is still the undisputed world champion at super welterweight or junior middleweight. Jermell Charlo versus Terence Crawford would be another dream matchup, and I'm sure you ringsiders out there would love to see Crawford daring for greatness once again at what would be his 4th division to conquer and potentially a whopping 3-weight undisputed world champion. That's all future talk. For now, let us congratulate Terence Crawford on becoming the undisputed welterweight champion of the world and doing it in style delivering a first ballot Hall of Fame level performance, solidifying his status as a generational talent. Let us also give respect to Errol Spence Jr., who showed lots of championship heart and grace after his first loss as a pro.
I felt cool. I thought, you know, I could definitely do enough to win the fight, but I feel good. And like I said, I'm not here to make any excuses. I'm a grown man. I decided to agree to the weight and get down to it, and that's what I did. So take no excuses. Hats off to the champion tonight.
What did you make of Errol Spence Jr. versus Terence Crawford? Leave your comments in the comment section below. If you're new to this channel and you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe, give a thumbs up, and hit that notification bell for the latest here on Ringside Stories. It does really help with the algorithm and build this channel, i.e. giving me the inspiration to make more content like this. Now, if you've done that already, you're amazing. We already know that you are the true undisputed world champion. Till next time, Ringsiders, this is your host, Boxing's Objective Observer, with Ringside Stories. Thanks for watching, and have a legendary day.